Hey, Jarek here, and this is a box. A box sent to me from Out of Darts. I don't know how you could tell. Out of Darts is a company I've been working with for a while now. They coincidentally happen to be local, which was a pleasant surprise. I've been to their shop, I've collaborated with them before, I've made shorts with Dr. Flux and Luke. Everyone at Out of Darts is just genuinely into the hobby, just genuine people. Really could not recommend them enough. It's always fun hanging out with those guys. So I'll put a link down below in the video information as to where you can get what is in this box, and if you need anything from their shop, I would highly recommend. Okay, but what's in the box? Well, what's in this box is the Silly Butts Breacher. This is another tube-fed, shell-loaded, pump-action, dart blasting shotgun that can, in theory, fire literally any dart. Any projectile that has been made by Nerf or not made by Nerf as a dart can be fired. So, not the first time we've seen this. The first time I saw it personally was the Shellington Spring Thunder. And that did, in theory, what this one did, minus a few more ammo types I'll get into. But it also was kind of paving the way. It was a little bit janky, it could break some parts, it was a little unreliable at times, it didn't shoot very hard, and it didn't feed reliably either. So an awesome project to be sure that I really did enjoy, but there was a lot of room for improvement. Another one I had was the Monkey Mods Firefly. This one was my favorite out of the two. It fired much harder, and it was much higher quality. It was made totally of plastics, but it used smaller shells. So the only thing you could fire out of it was either a half-length dart, two half-length darts cut down so you have your own sort of shotgun spread with it, or the 50 cal foam balls to make a proper shotgun shot. Still really cool, but far from being able to fire anything you want out of those shells. Then there was another case that was not intended, that was the Nerf Rival Pilot. This was a break action pistol that used the rival rounds, but people realized that, rival rounds are kind of big, so you could fit any shell you wanted to into that barrel, and it could fire anything you wanted. And this was awesome, because the Rival Pilot was super cheap. You didn't need to modify it in any way whatsoever. You needed to buy just cheap 3D printed shells you could get for a couple of dollars or 3D print them yourselves. And they really could fire anything, from half-length darts to full-on Mega XL and demo rockets. Like, it was just a really, really cool toy. This is some of my favorite things about Nerf, is just the ingenuity of simplicity. Just doing this, it's fun. But this is supposedly the next step up. As you can tell, I've not seen it yet, so let's take our first looks at this thing. Let's just open this box up and get to it. Oh boy, they sent me a lot of darts. These are a lot of full-length Worker Gen 3 darts. I actually have quite a few of these, but it's interesting that they sent these to me. And I mean, they sent me a lot of these. They sent me some fresh, basic Worker Gen 3s. That is much appreciated. All the old Worker Gen 3s I have are pretty chewed up, so when I'm trying to chrono, they don't exactly work the best to tell on reliability, but maybe that's more accurate. If you go to games, you're probably going to be using chewed up things. All right, so I got some more parts for this. That's good. In case anything breaks, I can replace those parts. I got another part. I believe this is the part that holds stuff on the top, so I can attach that to the rail. Here are some of the shells. This takes three elite darts. These are as big as the shells are. They're pretty darn big, which is good because it means it can fire anything, and that's a great thing. Let's see, before we get to the shotgun, let's just look at all the different shells. So those are the fire 3 different full-length darts, or probably 6 half-length darts as well. This is 3 times elite, so more of these. Okay, more 3 times elite. So I got a full magazine, basically, of shells worth of 3 times elite here. Another 3 times elite, but we're finally seeing some of the others. Mega. I can fire a Mega. That's fun. So for these, I need to point out, for the Mega darts, you need to cut down. I need an example. Where did I put my Mega darts? I set them down somewhere. So I've already done this. For the Mega darts, you need to cut some of these down. If you get a half-length Mega, they fit in the shell and they won't cause any jamming. A full-length one will only work if you put it directly into the barrel. So you'll have to cut up some of these, but that's not the biggest problem in the world to get a cool working shotgun. I already did it for something similar. A single elite, if you want that shotgun, if you want the sniper kind of shell, fires 1 dart very hard. Another single shot. This one fires 2, so elite times 2, so a tighter spread, so either 2 full-size darts or 4 half lengths. And this one is one of the ones I'm pretty excited for. The MXL, Mega XL. Yeah, you can fire these big old things. Again, like the Megas, you're going to have to cut this in half to get this to fit in the tube. I didn't want to sacrifice any of the ones I had. I forgot to buy more of these. But if you just plop this thing right into the barrel, this one will at least shoot. That is satisfying. All right, I believe this is the last one. Elite times 4, so 4 elite darts. Rival, here we go. We finally got one of the rival ones. I love the idea of being able to fire any projectile I want. That's very fun. I do want to know if, and this is gonna be a blast from the past, Boomco darts will work in the elite shells. They're narrower, so I don't imagine they will, but I want to try it anyway. I'm just gonna pop it right into the barrel so I don't mess it up at all. And obviously I'm not cutting these. These are like a currency. They're so hard to find. In fact, I looked forever trying to find this. It was buried deep inside my blasters. I don't even know if this still works. Let's yep, still shoots. That's cool. But we got plenty of Boomco darts to try out. I don't think they'll work, but you know, I just feel like it. I want to. Let me find that dart. This thing's important. I found it. I already lost 3 of these. I can't lose any more. It's probably in the box I pulled it out of. I don't know where it is. And yeah, I still have all the Boomco stuff. We didn't... Okay, good, that one still works. We didn't know how good we had it with these Boomco darts. These things were really good. I really wish I got that drum mag LMG style Boomco thing. I'll put a video of it right here while I'm talking. I wish I grabbed one of those, but you're not gonna get one now. Okay, enough talking. Up to the official thing. Wrapped up. You can kind of see the silhouette. Let me get it out of its weird packaging prison. This is like artsy cardboard. I don't even know how to describe this. Well, if anything else, I can say it's packaged well. I asked for black, red, and gold. I think I could get my own colors. Let's see how it turned out. I don't actually remember. I do think I remember asking for blood red. That much I do remember. Oh, that looks clean. That looks so, I love this color of red. This thing is beautiful. I love how this red looks. Let me get closer to the camera so I can really show you. Is that not pretty? That's so pretty. I believe the color of this red is literally called blood red. This color of red plus gold would work so well for like a bolt gun or something like that. That's a future project. Okay, I got a cool little Out of Darts breacher sticker. That's nice. That's actually pretty neat. Okay, first impressions. This thing is solid. This is a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. I love this. All right, how's the pump? Pretty smooth. Let's go ahead and release the spring there. Let's just load up. Actually, first, let me put the thing on top of the rail. Okay, so the thing that goes on top of the rail just holds a singular shell. I don't know how useful that really is. It's neat. Probably makes it look better, so I'll still put it on it. But like, I don't know. I guess the only real use for it is it makes it look more gnarly. But I've also noticed it's really hard to get the shells out once they're in. Yeah, that's there pretty good. Ugh, okay, got it out. All right, I got it installed, and it seems to fit in with the design pretty well. I'm gonna load up one of these single dart elite shells. This is one of the Worker Gen 3 darts that they sent me. It would, in theory, go right here. Let me show you how tight of a fit this is, and it's 3D printed parts, so like, it won't really slide in. It does, but you have to use a lot of pressure. It only really gets in if you do that, which feels wrong because you're stretching 3D printed parts. With a shell on it, I don't know if I like that more than the default look. out of the extra orange, like it fits, but, it doesn't really actually seem that useful. I think a traditional one which allowed me to have like 4 up here would be good and easier to access. I think the theory on this one is you pump it open, you take it off, which this is, it's gonna be kind of difficult, so give me a sec. Okay, got it off and dropped it. Again, in theory, I think you're supposed to be able to just slide it out, plop one right in there, slam it shut, and let's see how this thing shoots. This is my first time shooting it. I'm gonna shoot it down to the box. Let me move that box so I don't just shoot against the wall. All right, into the box. That's loud. That's pretty loud, especially right against your ear. That's gonna leave you ringing for a little bit. Shoots pretty good from what I see. I'll have to test it with a lot of other darts. In fact, I'll have to chrono a lot of it. I think I'll take this piece off. It fits, it doesn't look bad, but I think it looks better without this on it. And honestly, this isn't doing anything for me anyway. It's just hard to get the darts out of here. It's not really easy dart storage. Let me just take this off. All right, let me look at this side by side. Does this look better or does that look better? Hard to say. It really does fit in with the look. It just isn't doing anything for me. It looks a little more tactical, I guess. I guess I'll just leave it on. I don't plan on using it, but you know, having it there says, hey, look, this is a shotgun, so screw it, let's just leave it on. Oh, silly me, I forgot to eject the shell. Let's see how the ejection is. Let's see how far it ejects it. I'm gonna turn this way because my computer's that way and I don't wanna break my monitor. I didn't pump it as hard as I could, but it ejected just fine. Let's go ahead and load up a magazine of different shells, different darts, and I'm just gonna test it right here. Okay, so I already fired a single full-length dart. Let's load in 2 half-length darts into this. See how that works out. Let's load in 3 elite darts. When I'm firing these down the hallway, I'm probably gonna use the green waffle heads just because they're easier for the camera to pick up. I'll test and see which ones work better. 2 times elite, I really want to do a test here. Do the Boomco darts actually fit? They're a lot more narrow. They fit in, but you know, that's what you're gonna run into. I kind of figured that would be the case, but hey, 3D printed shells, someone can definitely print shells to use these. I would love that because with the Spring Thunder, these actually worked amazing. There was a shell that could fire 3 of these. It was awesome. It was actually my favorite shell out of that to use. These shells are a lot bigger, so no, it will not be compatible with the Shellington Spring Thunder shells, which is unfortunate. But now that I'm here, let's try putting in 4 half-length darts into this thing and see if it shoots that fine. The first one I'll do is I'll slap in one of these big Mega XLs. Here's a regular Mega. I can put in one of my half-length Megas for this. We can't forget about the rival. I can put in, let's see how many of these I can fit in here. This is the first one. This is a pretty tight fit. It looks like 3. Looks like 3 will be the amount. Do they stay in with 3 in here? They're actually not pressed all the way to the back of the shell. There we go. Yeah, those aren't coming out easily. So 3 rival rounds. I looked over the shell. I somehow did not see it when I was pulling it out of the boxes. I think I just thought it was another elite shell. This is the N series, which is the new dart that Nerf released not long ago. I don't actually have any of those on me, so I can't test this, but hey, we already got stuff for the N series. That's pretty cool. This does mean I do not have a shell for one of the Ultra rounds, which is a little disappointing. I actually am one of the only people in the world that actually does like these things, at least in the context of really, really silly, dumb nonsense, especially because I have screaming ones that make loud noises, and that's always fun. All right, first one goes in. That is the Mega XL. Again, I don't want to cut this down, but that's fine. You can just slam that into the barrel, and now let's load up the other ones in this see-through tube, which is really cool, by the way. Starting with the last dart I'll fire will be the half-length Mega XL. That is so cool. 4 half-length darts. They load super easy. Like the Spring Thunder could occasionally be a pain. You get like stuck, or there'd be a plastic piece in there that would pinch you, and this one just, they slide right in. 3 full-length darts. 3 rival rounds. I think that's max capacity, but let's see. And then This one I think is a couple half-length darts. Yeah, we're max capacity, so count them if you will, but let's go ahead and test this out. First one's gonna be a Mega XL. Pretty loud, shot fine. You guys will definitely see this downrange. I'll take it out of the hallway, but these are my first shots. I just want to record it. God, that's satisfying. It's loud though. This is Rival, I believe. They all shot. Not terribly hard, but they all shot. This is going to be half-length darts. No, 3 full-length darts. I actually shot pretty good. I don't know what this is. Let's just shoot it. That was 6 half-length darts and it worked. That was the Mega, and I think we're out. Yep, we're out. This thing's cool. This thing's really fun. This is why you record unboxing videos. I forgot, I have one more loaded in. This is the, I think, 2 half-length darts. It's much less finicky than the Spring Thunder. I'll say that. The Spring Thunder, you had to kind of like, every time you pumped it, look at it, make sure it wouldn't jam, to make sure nothing got caught, to make sure it actually fed, or if it actually shot at all, and assuming the catch didn't break. This, right now, this feels way more sturdy. It's definitely bulkier. It almost feels, like this thing almost feels like a China lake or something with how large the shells are, but first impressions, this is just working. Yeah, pretty good. I will say the one concern I do have is that I wouldn't grab it and hold it by the grip. This is a lot of weight to put on just this one 3D printed grip that is screwed on. It doesn't flex and it doesn't feel like it'll break, but I don't know. I just to be cautious, I'm not gonna just reach down and lift it one-handed with this sort of thing. I'm gonna brace it in my arm if I do that, brace it on my shoulder or something. So I would be cautious about that. On the plus side, this is a pretty slim grip, so it is very comfortable. It is definitely made for adult hands. I'm 6 feet tall. I got a pretty wide wingspan. So yeah, this works for my hands. So it was definitely not intended for the child audience, although it doesn't seem to shoot so hard that I would worry about that, but it's definitely made for enthusiasts. I'm talking a lot. Let's chrono this thing. I can't chrono the shells that shoot multiple darts at once, but I can at least chrono a single half-length dart, a single long dart. You get the point. All right, I'm here in front of my blaster wall, and I got a whole bunch of numbers to read to you. So at first I fired a single Adventure Force waffle head. This fired at about 90 to 110 feet per second. A little bit of fluctuation, but on average it was closer to 110. With Worker Gen 3 full-length darts, I was getting consistently around 110. With Worker Gen 3 half-length darts, I was getting 100, so an FPS drop of about 10. Now, if you know me, you know I like firing bamboo darts just because getting the higher number is silly to me. They're not usually viable in games because you'd rather have accuracy, but this is one of the times where it might be better for this blaster. You're not really going for accuracy with a shotgun, you're going for a good spread. So bamboo darts may be a good choice. And again, as normal, I was getting an FPS increase 120 feet per second with Adventure Force bamboo darts. Also, I can't believe I forgot to try this earlier in the video, but of course the 50 cal foam balls do work in this blaster with the regular sized like single dart loading one. I tried that and I was getting about 100 feet per second. You may be surprised you're not getting a higher feet per second with this, but they didn't make the best seal in the shell, so I kind of expected to see FPS dip a little bit, but it didn't dip by much. The Nerf Rival ball rounds fired consistently at 96 feet per second, like I was getting multiple shots at 96. With Mega XL, I was getting 90 feet per second, which considering the Nerf standard for Mega XL launchers is 50 feet per second, so you're getting 40 feet per second above the average of Nerf. That's pretty dang good. And that's with a full-length Mega XL. I didn't want to sacrifice any of the few I had and cut them down. I can't tell you what half-length would give you, but in my experience, it's not too much different when you fire half-length compared to full-length. But still, this at 90 feet per second is pretty good. But you might have noticed I left one round out. That was the Mega. I noticed that the shell for the Mega didn't have the right seal for the dart. So I only have one of these shells, so it may just be a problem with this shell in particular, but with this, the size of the head is slightly thicker than the rest of the dart. So it doesn't really fit. Now, I can make it fit, which will then squish down the top of this dart and basically vacuum it there, and then it won't actually fire out of the shell. The spring will come down, it'll be like a slow decompression of the spring. It won't get the Mega out. So either the shells need to be kind of reworked to fit the size of the head. And by the way, I tested this with regular Mega XL or regular Megas as well. These are also too thick. This is the standard Nerf brand. Yeah, that right there is gonna get stuck. So not ideal. I tested it with the other kind of gyro design that I got for that big beast up there. The reason I got these with these heads is because these heads won't rub on the inside of the barrel, which for something like that actually matters. But it was the same story with those. And even if I was firing a full size dart and the head wasn't getting stuck, it was still blowing the dart apart. So yeah, something needs to be worked on that a little bit. With these darts, I did try cutting one of these in half. My camera just made me look blue for some reason. I don't know why it changed color. Let's try this. Whatever, ignore it. I did try cutting one of these down and it actually did fit. These actually fit in those shells pretty well. But then it exploded right away. So yeah, it'll work for 1 or 2 shots. So yeah, the shell is either just something went wrong with the printing of this one, or the size needs to be kind of reworked a little bit to work with Mega. For now, I will probably sacrifice this dart. This one will probably explode on itself when I shoot it, but it will shoot anyway. I'll just have this be the first one in, because unless you have it cut down, this is not fitting into the mag tube. It needs to be flush with the shell. But you can't just put it directly into the breech and shoot it that way. It will work. And I did test it that way. I got 110 feet per second. So you got a Mega shooting at 110 feet per second. That's pretty good when it works. Now comes the fun part. We just get to try out all these different shells, shoot them down range. I had targets down there, but I'm not really looking for super accuracy or something. They're only about 20 feet away. That's about all the space I got. I live in the middle of a big city, so I can't really take this out and shoot it outside. But yeah, I mean, this is about as far as you'd want to shoot with a dart blaster shotgun. So let's go ahead and start by loading up a Mega XL. Again, I don't want to cut this down, so we can just shove this thing right in the breech. What else do we got to pick up here? A single dart. I'll save this one. I'll make this one second. Let's load up the last shot here. All right, this is 3. Here's 6 half-length darts. Here's 3 rival balls. And then let's put the single full-length dart here. And that's fully topped up. So the first one should be a Mega XL. Pretty satisfying. Now just a single shot. That broke the head off the bamboo dart. When it hit the wall anyway. Now this one should be, I don't know. I already forgot. Let's see. That was 3 rival balls. That was 6 half-length darts. Now it's 3 full-length darts. Now let's load in a Mega, probably destroy the dart. Here is 50 cal foam balls. I can fit 4 in here. 5 technically will fit, but it'll just fall out of the top. Here is 4 half-length darts. Here is 3 full-length darts. Here is 4 full-length darts. Yeah, it shoots the Megas pretty hard. That dropped out one of the 50 cal foam balls. So 3 is probably the best number for the 50 cal foam balls. They don't make a great seal, and the seal breaks off about halfway up. So 3 is what we're gonna get. That was actually 4, so I had 5 in there. So yeah, 4 is the correct number there, like I originally thought. All right, I went down there and checked the darts, and the Mega is perfectly fine. Did not rip itself apart, so this one lives for another shot, which is nice. And here's the waffle head that just kind of exploded on impact with the wall. A single shot is what did this, so a lot of power right into the wood door. That doesn't surprise me that this would happen. But there's one more thing. There's one more thing I want to try. There's this 4 times elite shell, which in theory means we can put 8 half-length darts in here. So let's do that. Let's put 8. All right, there we go. Here's 4. Blast dart going in. Here's 8 half-length darts, Worker Gen 3 heavies in one shell. Let's see if this one has enough power to fire it. It sure did. I actually do want to try one more thing. I want to try that with bamboo darts. Since they're lighter, it might actually work better and give us a tighter spread and shoot a little farther. Here they are. Here the beautiful light darts are. First impression's good. They make a seal, but it's not a very tight seal, so it seems to be just perfect. Let's drop this in here. Now let's see how this shoots. Okay, I hyped that up. That was worse than the Worker Gen 3s. The Worker Gen 3s definitely are the better option for at least 8 of them at once. But the 8 at once is very fun. All right, I'm gonna do my conclusion out here by the blaster wall. This thing's awesome. The Breacher has jumped up there to being my favorite Nerf Shotgun style thing. The Monkey Mod still has a place in my heart. It shoots harder than this one does, but it's limited in what it can do. Yeah, it's plastic, it's commercially produced, it shoots half-length darts harder, it shoots 50 cal balls harder, it can shoot 2 cut down half-length darts harder, but this one just works. I'm not having any issues with it. It's not janky in any sort of way. It pumps smoothly. It has arms on both sides. The Monkey Mod one really requires you to pump that properly because it has an arm only on one side, which causes weird leverage, and also a tighter spring on top of that. So those 2 are the ones that are really in contention. It's the Monkey Mod's Firefly, which shoots harder but has limited ammo capacity compared to what this thing can do, or you can use this one, which doesn't shoot quite as hard, but it definitely has respectable feet per second, and you get these massive shells that'll fire anything you want to. And if you don't have shells for things that you want to fire, like I was talking about with the Ultra rounds, then they're 3D printed. You can just get more. And that's definitely something I'll be looking at doing. I want some Ultra Dart shells, and I want some, I was gonna say bamboo, not bamboo. I want some Boomco darts. I forgot what they were. It's been so long. I want something that can fire Boomco darts. Surprisingly, Boomco darts work really well in this style of blaster. That's what I learned from the Spring Thunder. Having one that can fire 3 or even 4 or 2, I want the same variation that I get with lean darts. And this is possible. This is possible. You have all of the shells. You can 3D print anything you want to. Also, just on top of that, the way this thing functions, the way it looks, the way it feels, this, like, look at that. It makes me giggle like an idiot. This thing is an awesome blaster. Humongous thanks goes to Out of Darts. If you want to get one of these things for yourself, there's a link down below in the video information. That's where you can find this on their website. I would highly recommend. Also, this color, again, this color is blood red. I really like how this looks. Thank you guys for watching. I've been looking forward to this blaster for a while, and it did not let me down. So I'll see you guys next video.